Friday, July 19th, 2024. And what the fuck did we just watch last night? I, I gotta agree with Anna Navarro that I did kind of expect to see a few more headlines about uh you know Trump's unhingedness. Where's the calls for to test his mental acuity? Um where's the call the calls from the media to test his fitness for the office? He can't stop fucking talking about Hannibal Lecter. Like what the fuck? He gave us this very poorly read, like low energy, could barely speak his speech about the let me tell you about this shooting, and I'll only do this once because it was so traumatic for me. And it just dragged that out and told a whole bunch of lies in the middle of that process. And then, by the way, later on, when he brought out that chart that he looked at, that chart that saved his life, then he joked about it. So, how much trauma are you experiencing, buddy? Um, God. Anyway, that was a fucking shit show, and the media is helping to hand this entire election to Trump, knowing what's at stake, and the whole thing is just utterly sickening. Um, his bullshit rhetoric, still calling Nancy Pelosi crazy, all the same old rally cry tactics. Not a lot of policy other than get out all of the immigrants. So exactly how is that unifying? By the way, deport all immigrants and drill baby drill. Um, those are the like that's we're closing the borders and drill baby drill. Those are the things he promised. That's his entire platform. Neither of those things are helpful to the economy, and neither of those things are unifying. So fuck you. That didn't work, and fuck you to the media for not calling out this unhinged bullshit. We still have no medical report about what actually happened to him, why he's even wearing a bandage. Was there a stitch? Is part of his ear missing? Last weekend he seemed to be fine. How long is that little ear tampon going to stay on his head? Because at some point he's got to take it off. I only watched the first hour of that speech last night because once he got off the "I found God" bullshit and started rambling about in his rallying cry way, I was like, it's 11:30. Fuck this dude. Um, I did kind of think that maybe he was going to, in a flourish, take his bandage off and everyone would cheer, which would, sort of expose the fact that he didn't need it. But I was hoping for a moment like that. But I don't think that happened. I didn't see the end. But yeah, this whole thing is very upsetting. And fuck you to Chris Christie for saying he's not voting for anybody. Like, what a fucking dereliction of duty as an American citizen. That's a shitty, shitty politician who can't say very clearly, this guy's a fucking danger to our democracy and needs to be stopped. But I don't really like the other one. What's the other one's policy? That's what's the old David Sedaris thing about, the flight attendant comes down the row and says, um, we can either offer you chicken or a plate of glass. And the person says, well, how's the chicken prepared? It's the whole thing is maddening to me. Um, and it's super upsetting to now, having seen AOC's post, which goes on for quite some time. But if you haven't seen it, she put it on Instagram. I don't know if it's anywhere else. I'm sure it's uploaded some. Well, I don't know. That media doesn't seem to be covering it at all. But she kind of just laid it all out that it's the donor class, the high uh, donating uh, Democrats, right, that are putting pressure on the Democratic Party to replace Biden and Kamala, um, because they don't think they can win. So they're the rich people are trying to say, fuck democracy. We don't care about your primaries. Install someone that we like, which to me makes me even more adamant that they stay in, because what they're doing is Biden and Harris is what they're doing is actually helping middle and working class people. If the rich people are mad about it, I kind of think I think we should want it. Um, this is exactly why people don't vote and people don't trust politics and don't trust politicians, because if you're only going to listen to the people with the most amount of money, and then you're just going to make more um, uh, legislation that helps them make more money while the rest of us have to suffer and pay for it, then fuck you. Why do we owe you anything? Um, and it's really annoying because it's clearly the Democratic establishment is saying, well, we have to, we have to abide by the donor class. The rest of the base will just fall in line because they know what's at stake, so they'll follow us. And unfortunately, we're kind of over a barrel and in a pickle. Like, what the fuck else are we supposed to do? Let Trump win? So we're going to vote for whoever you install? Well, I don't care. You know what? I don't want Joe to leave. I want a Biden Harris ticket. I proudly want to watch them win and get inaugurated in January. Um, but and then all these fucking naysayers are in for a world of hurt. But either way, no matter what the fuck happens, these shitheads, Schumer and Pelosi and Schiff, fuck you for doing this. This is why people hate politics, and this is why we have a disenfranchised electorate. It's so frustrating. And you know who's sticking by Joe Biden the hardest? The most progressive and the youngest parts of the Democratic caucus: AOC, Crockett, Maxwell Frost. Like, it's maddening. The ones that everybody says, oh, they're the far left. They're the ones that are saying, hey, let's hold on to democracy. Let's make people's votes matter. Let's just support the candidate that won the primary so we can retain a democracy in this country. Unfucking believable. So if you're watching this video, I've called my senators and representatives. I recommend you do the same. You can look it up online, look up your senator's name. They have a phone number. You can email them. You can write to them. You can call them. Don't just tweet at them or post on social media. That doesn't matter. They have to record the calls and the letters. So yeah, tell them what you think, because otherwise, we as voters are not letting our voices be heard. And if we're not telling them what we want, then that's a little bit like Christie just not voting, and that's not acceptable. So work the phones, kids. Go Joe.